What is going on YouTube? Kronos here and welcome back to the PSO2 NGS video. So today's video I actually want to show you guys just a little bit about the task system as well as the class system and the battle power system. So we're just going to jump right into this. If you guys have caught my other videos, you guys know that I had access to the PS2 NGS beta over in JP servers. Super fun, learned quite a bit, and I want to share with you guys at least as much as I possibly could. So task system, pretty straightforward. The task menu itself, this basically replaces client orders. You have access to seeing all of the client orders or all the tasks you've completed currently, as well as the current ones you have. So you can see these are my story client orders. These are my side quests that we did during the beta. Did quite a few of those, as well as my weeklies. I'm sorry, my dailies and my weeklies. So you can see, in case anyone's curious about weeklies, they are currently 100k a piece, and we had 4 of them. I believe it was like, I want to say it was like food, region mag stuff, urgent quest, and then something else. But my current one is complete, I believe, 15 dailies. Unfortunately, since I didn't get my daily done when the servers first went live on day 1, since servers went down, we were unable, or I was unable to get that daily completed, meaning I wouldn't get this weekly done. I can't get the extra 100k. So it looks like weeklies are just going to provide you around 400k overall, instead of like the 2.4 mil that they gave us during JP times, which, I mean, granted, this could always be adjusted. It could be a level thing as well. Maybe as I level up, this gets larger, just like on JP, but we'll have to see. My dailies, of course, are finished, and I have no side quests, and I've completed all my story quests. So you guys get an idea of the task menu. One cool thing you can actually see off to the left hand side here, I can't point to it unfortunately, but off to the left hand side here, you guys can actually see a weekly quest, or kind of like a quest tracker. There's a quest tracker that they should show you on screen, which is fantastic. One thing I would like is you can only see one quest being tracked at a time. I'd like it if it were multiple, but there are some quests that have multiple steps, so that might be a reason why it's not multiple quests. But it is a situation where you can only see one quest at a time. Of course, you can turn that on and off by going to the task itself, selecting it, and having it disabled so it is not being followed. Granted, it's my only one, so it keeps popping up. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not, but usually you can switch them by just going to them. Yeah, it's auto repopulating itself as soon as I pop out of this menu, which again might be intentional, might not be intentional. That's something we'll go ahead and have to report, like everything else I've mentioned. But anyway, you can see that there. You can always adjust it. Now, as far as tasks go, this little symbol above the person's name, or above the person's head, means they have a task for you. These are all class tasks. I haven't grabbed any of these. This was the fighter, and this was the hunter task person. Actually, I believe, yeah, fighter and hunter. I already completed those two, so not really worried about that. But that's just a quick little rundown of tasks. Nothing too crazy there. Actually, pretty comfortable on picking them up, doing them. I know one thing that was a big issue was feeling like you were overwhelmed by all the tasks, but honestly, something as simple as adding in a just something to tell you what task you're working on and what you need to do made things a lot easier. I actually ended up running around and picking up every single task that I possibly could in the town, and it really didn't feel like I was overwhelmed whatsoever, so that's pretty cool. The next portion of this, we're going to go ahead and head over to the class person here. You'll end up hitting 1100 battle power. Now, battle power, just to give you guys an example of, is a combination of your class levels, your main class and your subclass, your gear, and your affixes and augments, meaning that augmenting a weapon does increase your battle power. Now, I'm curious. I'm actually going to switch over to my sword, something I didn't check. Yes, and it looks like the augments do matter. I believe that main stat augments or higher tier augments are going to cause you to get higher battle power. The reason I was curious about that was in a previous video, I just augmented my sword. I know my sword does not have a better augment than my knuckles. My knuckles have a slightly higher augment, and it looks like it does increase the battle power. So the augments do actually adjust how much battle power you gain. But as you guys can see, like in PSO2, augmentation is just the cherry on top. Most of what you're getting is going to be coming from the weapon rarity itself, how highly upgraded the weapon is, as well as your units and their upgrades too. And my units are not upgraded very high. Show you guys really quick. I only have 2 3-star units and a 2-star unit, which upgrading is kind of expensive at the moment with the limited amount of money that we have and the resources we have, which is why I personally believe something like, preparing ahead of time in PSO2, getting some stuff for the very beginning of PSO2, that way I don't have to worry about spending a bunch of resources early on, is going to be kind of helpful for me, and why I plan to do something like that and show you guys in a video in the future. That way, I can focus on playing the game consistently. But either way, we'll talk about that in a different video. We're talking about battle power right now. So you can see battle power is a combination of all those things I mentioned beforehand. Something to keep in mind about the class system, your subclass actually does not affect your stats, meaning your stats are not affected, or your battle power is not affected by the subclass you choose, just the level of the subclass itself. Meaning that if I were to go over here to the class counter, I set my subclass to a class that is level 1. You can see my battle power does go down to 1087. However, if I set my subclass to another class that is level 1, so let's see, we're currently subclass, hang on, let me make sure. We're currently subclass Ranger, excuse me. We're a subclass Ranger, we're gonna set it to subclass Force. Our battle power has stayed the same. Hang on, I want to double check something. Did I lose the ability to unequip anything? No. No, I lost the ability to equip my sword. Okay. That's something to keep in mind. Sword and all of that stuff. So, reality, the only thing that matters is going to be your level of your subclass. You need to level up your subclass to be able to go ahead and get your battle power. That's about it. Subclasses themselves do not actually affect your stats whatsoever. They're just the ability to equip certain weapons, of course the ability to use certain PAs from multi-weapons itself, and certain skills are going to be usable via subclass. So the combination of classes is actually pretty open at the moment, at the very least. There are no classes that have anything like stances, so no raw stat increases or anything along those lines, percentage-based stat increases. So across the beta, we actually found a lot of really interesting class combinations that you wouldn't have thought about in PSO2 work very well in NGS. Something like, I know, I'll have to remember to leave a link to video or in the video description to his stream. I believe it was Bad Hoist, who was playing a fighter techer because he wanted to play wand. However, he wanted to be very strong with slapping the wand. It wasn't so focused on what's what I'm looking for, on supporting. He wanted to just do elemental attacks with wand, so he went fighter techer. That way he could get, of course, techer benefits. Granted, it wasn't debanned in Shifta, which that kind of sucks, but he could get the techer benefits of using the wand and elemental attacks with the strength of having access to an ability like Limit Break. So super cool there. Class combinations will be a lot of fun to be able to mess around with. However, you do want to make sure that you are leveling up your subclass because it does affect your battle power. During the beta, at the very least, subclasses only leveled up to level 10 while they were your subclass. You had to switch them over to your main class to be able to level them further past that. And again, while they're your main class, you aren't able to use main class abilities specifically, and vice versa. So just a quick note there. That's really about it though. Main classes, subclasses, tasks, all those sorts of things. There's nothing that's really too complicated with it. We'll have to see when they add in more weapons. As you guys can see, the skill trees are pretty bare bone at the moment. No, that's not. There we go. They're pretty bare bones at the moment just because we don't have the other weapons. You can see right here, if we go over to Hunter, Hunter just has the sword stuff here. You've got Iron Will, you have War Cry, and you have Photon Arts Avenger. When we have things like Partisan, we have things like Wired Lance added in, there'll be more on the skill tree itself, alongside of something like Fighter, where we only have, Knuckles. When we get, later on down the line, they already announced this during Prologue 2, but Double Saber and Twin Daggers obviously are going to be in here. So there'll be more to the skill trees when those get added in respectively. But nothing too crazy there. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and actually a lot of fun. I had a good time messing around with these classes. I may swap my class back over to what I normally was. Hunter Sub. You do get a little bit of stat based on your level and the class choice, but it's mostly like just HP and PP, I believe. Other thing, wow, that guy's hair. Other things that are usually going to affect is just going to be mostly your level, so, or anything from your stat, like from your skill tree. If there's anything that affects, like, say, more HP or more PP, I don't think that's going to be added in, but if there's something like that that's added into the skill tree, that obviously is going to affect it. But at this point, we're rambling on. We've kind of covered everything we wanted to cover. If you guys have any questions, feel free to toss them in the video description or into the comments below, and I'll do my best to get a hold of them. As always, a like on the video is much appreciated, and absolves you of half your ad block. Get the other half of those by subscribing. Both are completely free and they do help me out a ton. If you guys want to keep up with the content, make sure you click on the bell icon to be notified of videos when they go live, as well as community posts, or join us over on Discord or follow me on Twitter to get notifications via those two avenues. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Peace out.